Tonight, Shannon Sharp, or Uncle Shay Shay as he's affectionately known, has been accused of inappropriate contact with a 20-year-old OnlyFans model. This has prompted black women to say that this is what he deserves for quote-unquote playing in the snow. So we'll ask the question tonight. Is the white woman the black man's kryptonite? All that and more on episode number 121 of Up to Speed with Trip Simpson. We'll be right back.
The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences.
The first of his name.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Up to Speed with Trip Simpson. I am your host, Trip Simpson, in the building.
Commander of the armies of the North, General of the Felix Legions, loyal servant to the true Emperor Marcus Aurelius, father to a murdered son, husband to a murdered wife, and I will have my vengeance in this life or the next.
That's right, and I'm feeling it today, man. I ain't been here in a while, man. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, I am your host, Trip Simpson, in the motherfucking building. Let's go.
And you gonna get off his corners? You gonna leave his people be? Or you the one that's gonna find yourself a new plug?
You don't mean that shit?
The fuck I don't. I built this shit. Me. Brick by brick. And I'll be damned if I let you tear it down just cause you don't like the way another nigga talk.
That's right. Trip Simpson in the building.
Shiggity wickedy slam, lick up me talawa, and pan it long. If you're looking for your 1 minute man, goddamn, she get it wrong. Big bomber class, spliff a bus in me head. A sexy gal say she want to give me head. When me fuck pussy, pussy turn red. Gymnastic, now the pussy dead. When
Let's go, man. Let's go. Before we get this live stream started tonight, y'all know, first and foremost, we gotta handle business. Let's handle some business.
Family moving up in the business. I know you're gonna look after family.
What family you talking about, Ice?
Fuck, I look invisible, nigga.
That's right, I am not invisible. So if you're watching now live on X, if you're watching live on YouTube, if you're watching live on Facebook, and if you're watching live on Instagram, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If you're not already subscribed, tap that notification bell and select all. And also, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to comment in the live chat below. By commenting in the live chat below, no matter what platform you're on, that helps us get noticed in the algorithm. All right? So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get this show on the road tonight. I only want to keep it on the Shannon Sharp. Normally, I have a few topics to talk about during the live stream, but tonight, I want to keep it on the Shannon Sharp conversation because there's spin-off subjects that go perfectly with this scenario. Okay? So, like I said, today, we are going to focus the show around the whole Uncle Shay Shay lawsuit. And first off, Shannon Sharpe is an idiot. Shannon Sharpe is an idiot. And I mean, clearly, this Negro can't read the room properly at all. I mean, you'd have to be living in a goddamn cave in Antarctica somewhere to not know that as a multi-million-dollar celebrity, you just can't move the way that Shannon Sharpe is moving right now. Okay, you out here role-playing and talking crazy with a 20-year-old OnlyFans model. Now, let's really get into this. In 2025, an OnlyFans girl is nothing more than a glorified streetwalker. Okay? Instead of walking the streets or hanging out in Vegas casinos, these 304s lure in their tricks by using Instagram, Twitter, or X, Pornhub, or most notably, OnlyFans. Okay? Mentally, these women are no different than your everyday average bona fide street hoes. They are so dedicated to money that they are willing to degrade themselves on camera for the world to see. So what in the hell makes you think that they ain't willing to destroy you just to get paid? Hold on real quick. And you know, I'm tripping. Let me turn off my, let me put my shit on Do Not Disturb. So my phone can really be texting and ringing and shit. All right, we on Do Not Disturb. But yeah, what makes you think any of these hoes won't destroy you just to get paid? Okay, and I get it. Every once in a while, you want to do some tricking, right? And that's fine. Okay, you want to hit an OnlyFans model, pay the bread, wear rubber, no harm, no foul. But to actually carry out a relationship with one of these 304s is unacceptable, number one. And number two, it's delusional on your part. These women take D for a living. Like all types of D, all day, every day. They have no love in their soul for anything besides what's in your wallet. They're basically human leeches. So to carry on an ongoing fling with one of these skeezers is only going to end up hurting you at the end of the day. Look at what happened to Kai Cenat. Okay? That OnlyFans chick he was banging. She put him out there. Look what happened to Zion Williamson, the basketball player. He got into a transactional fling. Damn. I kind of like that term. Transactional fling. You heard it first here. Transactional fling. But anyways, Zion Williamson got into a transactional fling with a porn star named Mariah Mills. And once he moved on and stopped tricking on her, she went batshit crazy on him. And she put all his business out in the street. Okay? All because he got a new girlfriend and he wanted to start like a family, or he had a baby with her or something. See, these 304s ain't the way they used to be. Back in the day, when these 304s was under proper supervision under the PIs, wasn't none of this shit going on.
Now I done told your ass, if you want something slow and green, you better get you a turtle, ho.
Back in the day, wasn't none of this going on when the 304s was under the proper guidance of the PIs. You paid her, and she left you the fuck alone. Nowadays, though, 90% of these 304s are handling their own affairs and basically ruining their entire industry in the process because they aren't thinking strategically. Their first move is to blow up the trick spot as soon as he moves on, and ultimately, that's bad for business. Because pretty soon, the high-profile tricks will stop dealing with y'all altogether. But back to Zion Williamson. Okay? The chick Mariah Mills even threatened to leak sex tapes. Okay? And even tried to fake a pregnancy. So knowing all this, why was Shannon Sharp, or Uncle Shay Shay, as they call him, why would he put himself in that position? Okay, if you watch his podcast or his other show with Ocho Cinco, what's it called, Nightcap, I mean, it would appear as if Shay Shay will have enough sense not to get himself into this type of jam. But apparently, that isn't the case. Now, don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that Unc is guilty of committing a crime at all, okay? I'm not saying that. Because based on what I'm seeing, I don't think he committed a crime. But he is guilty of being a damn fool. Okay? You're a 55-year-old world-class athlete / celebrity / podcaster. What on God's green earth would possess you to associate yourself with a 19 or 20-year-old prostitute? What would possess you to even think that role-playing or whatever you were doing over the phone and through text was a good idea? Sir, you're worth millions upon millions of dollars. You're all over the goddamn internet. And every day we're seeing famous men getting taken down for complete BS, and you make yourself susceptible to this. You make yourself susceptible to this. All right, now, I got some of the audio here. I got the text message. I got it all. So we're going to go through the audio. We're going to go through the text messages. We're going to go through what he had to say, and then we're going to break this down. All right, so real quick, let's get to the audio. Man, shout out to my man, Marcus Graham in the building. See you out there, player. We finna cook tonight. We are fitting to cook tonight. And ladies and gentlemen, while I got you there, if you're watching on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, or X, do me a favor, hit the like button, hit the share button, okay? It's free. Hit the like button, hit the share button. Also, comment in the comment section below. Help us get off into the algorithm, all right? Now, let's get into these videos. Let's get into this audio, all right? All right, so give me a second. Let's get to it. Let's get to it. All right, let's get to this audio. All right, so which one we gonna do first? All right, yeah, let's get to this one.
I don't know. Anything I say, you're just gonna like get mad at, and you're just gonna hang up on me. So I feel like
I'm not gonna hang up on you. Here's what it is.
What? What does that even mean?
Nothing yet. You want to be a dick to me now, so.
I don't want to be. Don't manipulate me.
Oh, Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm gonna fucking choke the shit out of you when I see you.
Now, let's rewind that real quick, because you can see, now you could clearly see how this tape is edited. That didn't even match right there. Let's go back. All right, now listen to this.
If you say that one more time, I'm gonna fucking choke the shit. Oh, Lord have mercy. You want to be a dick to me now, so.
I don't want to be. Don't manipulate me.
Oh, Lord have mercy. If you say that one more time, I'm gonna fucking choke the shit out of you when I see you. Thank you.
Okay. Well, I don't.
You know what?
Well, I don't want to be choked.
Yes, you do. I don't think you have a choice in the matter.
Wow. So, I mean, listen. Now, that definitely sounds wild. Okay? The only thing that sounds sketchy to me, though, is the long pauses and the way some of the audio kind of jumps, right? But, I mean, to be honest with you, I mean, this phone call definitely sounds damning. Like, this is not good for Shannon Sharpe. And there was some other audio shared, too. I want to get to that. Let's go. Let's go to that.
Well, you're coming to LA tomorrow?
Yes.
Well, I don't know why you want to go out.
Don't worry about it, Daddy.
Well, okay.
Okay, what?
Well, I'm not really interested in getting choked, so I guess we're going.
Yeah, I might choke you in public. Big black guy chokes small white woman.
It's not a good look, Shannon.
Not a good look that you did with the shit you did to me.
Okay, well...
I mean, so you listen, I mean, honestly, it could go either way, but you're listening to this audio and it kind of sounds like that's how they talk to each other. But keep in mind, she's recording this, so she's definitely leading him into saying certain things. And I'm not trying to make excuses for Shannon Sharpe, but this sounds like some type of freaky way they play, because in the lawsuit, there are no allegations of him actually choking her in public or anything like that. There's no allegations of that, right? But anyway, we're gonna go to some more of the quote unquote evidence that's out here. There's some text messages that the young lady shared that she alleges makes Shannon Sharpe look guilty. So let's get to those text messages. So she's in the blue, right? So let's go to the first set of text messages. Hold on. Let's go to the first set. All right, so the first set of text messages are from her. This is from 6/14/2024. She texts to him. She says, "I want to be abused, Daddy." 6/14/2024. Then she says, "I want like some hardcore BDSM action though." January 31st, 2024. Now, let's go to 2 days later. January 2nd, 2025. Right? She says, "I don't know how to process this." And then she says, "But I cried when you left because I begged you to put a condom on and not put it in my ASS, and you didn't listen. I don't care what our history is. No means no, Shannon." And that's when Shannon says, "Can I call you later?" Right? Because now that was smart of him not to text anything crazy back, because as you can see, the day prior, she tells this man, "I want like some hardcore BDSM action." Right? She says that she wants that. Now, after it happens, she's sending him text messages talking about, "I don't know how to process this." Right? "I don't know how to process this, but I cried when you left. I begged you to put a like, this is clearly a setup. Clearly. This is clearly a setup, and you know, let me enlarge this so you guys can see that. This is clearly a setup. I'll go back. Right? This is the day before. Well, this is from June, right? "I want to be abused." So that's a text saying she wants to be abused. And this is a text from New Year's Eve, 2024. I want some hardcore BSM action. That's what she says. But then she says, but I cried when you left because I begged you to put a condom on and not to put it in my ASS. Then she says, I don't know how to process this. I don't know. This is looking like a setup to me. Because the day before you ask the man to do some rough stuff, he does the rough stuff. Now you're sending text messages talking about you didn't feel right and no means no. I don't know. I got to call Cap. I got to call Cap on Shorty right there. All right? Now, let's move on to Shannon Sharp's response. Okay, because Shannon Sharp had a response to some of the evidence that she put out. Okay, so first, Shannon Sharp took to the internet to give this message.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly.
Watch that. All right, there we go.
And from the heart, this is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right. This is all being orchestrated by Tony Busby, who has targeted Jay-Z. Tony Busby targets black men, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a sex tape that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out. I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened, and you're trying to manipulate the media. The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate setup, coordinated by Gabby, also known as Carly on OnlyFans. Gabby and Tony Busby want $50 million. What they're getting is sued for defamation and trying to take me down. My career is all about real talk and honesty. I know my family and fans know exactly what this is about, and I'm going to be out there telling you whatever I need to say, just like I always do. I love all you guys.
So there we have it. That's what he had to say. And then Shannon later that day released this in his court paperwork. And these are text messages from Gabby. She says, I want to put my tongue in your ASS and then marry you. Oh, I think, yeah, text from Gabby. Text from Gabby. That's my daddy F. I want you to put a big black baby in me. All right. Another text from Gabby. You better crave it because you're going to be stuck with it for life after you put a big black baby in me. Another text from Gabby. These messages are just a sampling of a broader, sexual community. Okay. All right. Okay. It says these messages are just a sampling of a broader pattern of graphic sexual communication initiated by Miss Zuniga. The evidence paints a clear picture. This was a consensual adult relationship that included role-playing, sexual language, and fantasy scenarios explicitly requested by Miss Zuniga. The edited tape that Miss Zuniga secretly taped and showed to Mr. Sharp during her blackmail attempt tries to falsely portray, as a result of his editing, out of context from prior text messages, that the sexual activity was not consensual. But Mr. Sharp now believes her secret taping was all a part of her planned setup as a part of her blackmail scheme. All right, so that's what they're going with.
I don't know anything.
That's what they're going with. Shannon Sharp's lawyer came out with a statement. I'm not gonna get into that article because I'm pretty sure you guys already seen it. Basically, his lawyer is stating that they believe it's a blackmail effort and that which I think it was a mistake, but they admitted that they offered her at least $10 million. Well, they used the phrase tens of millions of dollars, at least tens of millions of dollars, or excuse me, at least in the tens of millions of dollars, not to do it, and she refused, right? That's what his lawyer had to say. So, there we have it. It appears to me as if Shannon Sharp is being set up. Okay? It appears he's being set up. However, like I said, he put himself in this situation. I don't know if it's his celebrity status or his bank account or a combination of both, but it's gotten to his head, and maybe he thinks that he's immune to the consequences of stupidity. The bottom line is, at some point, he's gonna have to come with a lot more evidence and text messages or whatever it takes to get this case thrown out. And I'm not saying he doesn't have it, because he probably does. He probably just put a sample in whatever his court filing was. But the fact that he already offered her money and she didn't take it just isn't a good sign for Uncle Shay Shay. Especially when you've got a guy like Tony Busby, whose reputation is trash right about now because of the whole Jay-Z and Diddy debacle. I mean, if he's turning down what's reported as at least $10 million, which means it could have been 20 or 30, if he's turning that down, he most likely thinks he's got a smoking gun. All right? That's what he thinks. If he already turned down that much money, the way his credibility is shot right now, he must think he has a smoking gun that we just haven't heard yet. But anyways, I don't want to get into too much speculation. We'll just wait for the evidence to come out. Hopefully, Uncle Shay Shay didn't do what she's accusing him of. It doesn't seem like that way to me, the way things are lining up. But then again, like I said, if he didn't take the quick money, he must have a plan to get more, right? But like I said, anyways, there's another interesting conversation that is deriving from this drama that I also find very, very interesting. Okay, and that's the fact that there are a lot, and not all, but a lot of black women criticizing Uncle Shay Shay over this situation. And not because the young lady was significantly younger than him, and not because he was tricking. The biggest gripe that black women have with Shannon Sharpe is the fact that he did all this with a white woman. Leave it up to Keisha. Leave it up to Keisha, alongside with Dr. Umar Johnson, to turn herself into a victim and start an unnecessary race war when none of this has a goddamn thing to do with her. We finna cook tonight, y'all. We about to cook tonight. Keisha, you're going on trial tonight, because this is craziness. All right? But anyways, you know what's amazing to me about this? You got all these Keishas. You got all these Keishas out here that are basically gloating at the fact that Shannon Sharpe is going through this lawsuit. And it's because in their delusional minds, white women are the kryptonite of black men, when in fact, nothing could be further from the truth. Absolutely nothing. When we're talking about the kryptonite of black men, it would overtly be ignorant to overlook the black woman's role into the demise of the black man. From everything to FBI setups, to Hollywood scandals, to the single mother epidemic. Even if white women wanted to, they couldn't hold a candle to the damage that the black woman has not only done to the black man, but has also done to the black community as a whole. Quick disclaimer though. Quick disclaimer. This live stream is in no way, shape, or form intended to demean or put down or anything of a negative nature to black women. This is just a quick tune-up and a call to action to be better and to stop the delusion. Okay? I want you to stop the delusion. We got to get back to common sense. Now, when it comes to the black woman taking down prominent black men, nothing stands out to me more than our first example. And just for some clarity, I'm a native Washingtonian, okay? I was born, raised, and still live in Washington, D.C. And none of the things that has had a lasting impression on me, let me rephrase that. One of the things that has had a lasting impression on me since I was a little kid, maybe first or second grade, was watching the mayor of Washington, D.C. being perp walked out of the hotel by the FBI. And seeing Marion Barry in that hotel utter one of the most famous phrases known to man. The bitch set me up. The bitch set me up. Let's get to it. Let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. Y'all think we playing out? Let's go, man. We gonna cook tonight. Let's go.
Immediately after the decade began, a crisis engulfed the city.
Mayor Barry has been arrested on drug charges.
Mayor Barry was arrested last night at the Vista Hotel in downtown Washington.
Mr. Mayor, we'd like you to put your hands on the wall. Please put your hands on the wall.
I think everyone was taken aback by the arrest. We knew he had problems. We knew he wasn't as focused, but I think no one anticipated that.
That was a shock. Obviously, a tough moment for him. But it was a tough time for the nation's capital.
Later at trial, video would emerge of the FBI sting operation at the Vista.
And of course, it was an unbelievable scene. The mayor there taking puffs off of a crack pipe in a hotel.
This goddamn bitch set me up like this.
Let's go back. Let's listen to those famous words again. Let's go.
This goddamn bitch set me up like this. Set me up, ain't that a bitch?
The arrest and Barry's reaction etched a lasting mark on the public's imagination.
You know, ladies and gentlemen, you can say what you want about Washington, D.C. Mayor Marion Barry, but it's my belief that gram for gram, you're not going to find a better mayor anywhere.
Unfortunately, Barry was a punchline for the rest of America.
But many area residents didn't revel in Barry's downfall.
For a lot of us who know Marion from back then, it's very sad.
People to this day believe he was a victim of overreach on the part of the FBI.
The fact is, she did set him up. He went up to have sex. Barry was known to have sex with women. It was not an uncommon thing.
They got him on a possession charge for drugs that he did not bring to the room. So it was just like, yeah, you got him.
You hear that? You hear that? You hear that? Let me get this off the screen. All right. So in case you guys didn't know, and I gotta run through. I'm gonna run through the history real quick because a lot of people got this man and his legacy real twisted. All right. He was a great mayor. He was a great mayor. He was a good man. He wasn't perfect, but who is? I mean, especially in politics, okay? Marion Barry is responsible for a lot of positive things in the DC area, okay? He's responsible for turning PG County into what was or maybe even still is the most prominent black county / suburb in the United States of America. He's responsible for getting most of us our very first jobs, okay, with the Marion Barry Summer Youth Program. Amongst other things, he was just an easily accessible community figure that you might see anywhere in the city. I mean, I can remember quite a few times my dad and I sitting next to him at the old RFK Stadium at Redskins games. Okay, you might see him anywhere. This man was so loved by the people of Washington, D.C. that he was reelected after the crack smoking incident like 3 or 4 times. And then after that, he was elected to the city council. But anyways, to my point, the feds hated the fact they couldn't get him stealing money. They couldn't get him for corruption. So they used his weakness, which was women. They used his weakness, which was women, to do one of the most pettiest FBI raids, if not the pettiest FBI raid in history. Okay? They used his side piece to get him drunk at a hotel and coerce him into smoking a crack pipe that she bought. And as soon as he hit it, the feds came barging in to lock him up like he had just bought 10 keys from Pablo Escobar. And guess who they used to take him down? Guess who they used to take down the most prominent black politician probably in our lifetime? Guess who they used? Guess who the bitch was that set him up? It wasn't a white woman. It was a black woman. Okay, let's get to it. The other woman, Marion Barry's ex-girlfriend, writes a memoir. This is her. This is her. This is the woman that took down Marion Barry. So it says, students of history of Marion Barry may recall that during the infamous Bitch Set Me Up video of Barry smoking crack in room 727 of the old Vista International Hotel with former girlfriend Rashida Moore curiously cried out, Maria, Maria, after Barry took a hit from a crack pipe. The Maria, it was later alleged in court by Barry's legal team, was Rose Maria McCarthy, a former Barry girlfriend who had stolen the mayor's heart, driving Moore into a jealous frenzy that led her to team up with law enforcement officials to nab Barry. Do you hear that? This woman literally set up the most important black politician of our time because she was already his side piece and he got jealous of his other side piece and set him up with the FBI. And you're trying to sit up here and tell me that white women are the biggest threat to black men. Get out of here. You can't tell me that. I'm not dumb enough to fall for that. I'm not dumb enough to fall for that because I've seen it happen too many times. Let's read a little bit more. But there you have it though. She set him up because she was jealous of his other bitch. Excuse my language, but man, we cooking tonight. I ain't got no time for sensitive ears. So if you can't hear a little cuss words and you can't take a little criticism, log off. This ain't the show for you. Log off. Let's get back to the article. Indeed, Moore brings up Maria 3 times during her conversation with Barry before he inhales. The first time, Moore asked if Barry had spoken to Maria recently. Barry says yes, but then perhaps sensing Moore's jealousy or perhaps he had too much cognac, asked Moore what Maria's last name was. Give me a break, Moore says. No, I'm serious, baby, replies Barry. The second time Maria comes up is when Moore starts listing some of the women she says Barry has been with. And Maria, Moore says. Maria my ass, replied Barry. True player. Then later in the conversation, Moore abruptly changes topics and says it's surprised that her and Barry ever got romantically involved with Maria. Moore then asks if Maria was into freebasing, hitting. Barry replies that Maria was into wanting to give me some P-U-S-S-Y. Oh my God.
Blood clot.
After Barry's arrest, look, and that's so funny. Because Barry, like, she wanted to yap Barry's ear off about this other broad. He's like, look, man, you know what the other chick do good? She gives me what I want. Then what you trying to do? So anyway, it says after Barry's arrest, Maria McCarthy spent a month in jail for refusing to testify against him. She then changed her mind and testified before a grand jury at Barry's actual trial. She was on the prosecutor's witness list, but was never called to the stand. So there we have it, bro. There we have it. A great man taken down by a crack-smoking harlot. And it's crazy because she did all this to take this man down. And literally all she got out of it was a book deal 30 years later that I'm sure nobody bought. But y'all want to sit up here and tell me it's the white woman. Really? Really? Let's get to Mike Tyson's accuser, okay? The woman who showed up to his hotel room at like 2 or 3 in the morning, right? Another black woman, okay? This woman took down the heavyweight champion of the goddamn world based on some bullshit allegations. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go to Miss Desiree Washington's Barbara Walters interview. All right, this was a very interesting interview. All right, so we're going to go to that. Let's see if I can find it. Give me a second. Here we go.
So-called friend.
All right. Let's get that going. All right, come on, let's go.
So that you would have been thrilled to meet him?
Oh, yes.
Where did you get the courage after all of this, especially knowing that your father and brother thought that he was such a wonderful man? Where did you get the courage to come forward and press charges?
I would say from God, and my mom and dad. And
your father, even though he was a fan of Mike Tyson, said, go do it?
My dad is a bigger fan of mine.
When you met Mike Tyson at that beauty contest, he came and saw all of the girls. What was he like? What did he say to you? What did you say to him? How did he appear?
He was very nice. To me, he pointed to me and said, you're a nice Christian girl.
How did he know that?
He had been talking to Charlie Neal, so I assumed that Charlie Neal told him...
Who was in charge of the pageant?
Yes, he was the master of ceremonies, so I assumed that he told him that I was a Christian girl. That's what he said to me. He was really, really friendly, and he came up to me and hugged me and said, would you like to go out on a date with me? And I just said, sure. I was so surprised, and I couldn't believe it.
And excited? Really?
Yes, I was.
Did you feel romantic towards him?
No. I didn't find him attractive. I was just shocked. That's all I can...
Wow, he asked me? You mean like that?
Yeah, exactly.
At the trial.
Now, do y'all hear this? Mike Tyson is probably one of the most popular, in shape, best built, richest men in the entire world at this time. And she didn't find him attractive. Let's go. Let's continue.
The centerpiece of the defense was that you knew from the beginning that Mike Tyson wanted to have sex with you.
No, I
That's
didn't.
what was said.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Did he say anything to you that was sexual?
No, not at all. He didn't.
Just what?
Would you like to go out on a date with me? I mean, I don't see anyone who can find something sexual about that, you know. He even had mentioned dinner and things like that.
But no sexual kind of, we'll go back to my room, or no, gee, I'd sure love to hug you or kiss you, or...
No, nothing like that.
Did he touch you?
He hugged me, like I stated, but not in any sexual way.
One beauty pageant contestant testified at the trial that you made remarks about Mike Tyson's physique, that specifically you talked about his butt. You talked about...
Yeah, I did know about that.
Okay. Did you ever say anything about his physique?
No, I didn't. I don't know what this person's motive was for what she said, but...
So there we have it, right? This is one witness that state she was basically admiring Mike Tyson's appearance, even though she just said she didn't look at him like that. Now, I think this is important because what a lot of people don't realize about that Mike Tyson trial is it was a totally unfair trial, and Mike Tyson's attorneys were pretty much incompetent. Like, the judge kept throwing out substantial evidence that should have been available to the jury, and like it was just a mess. Like, Mike Tyson literally got railroaded. And if you ever notice, Mike Tyson is not above admitting to some of the things he's done wrong in life, because he talks about it all the time. But one thing that Mike will never admit to is saying that he did anything wrong to that woman. To this day, he states it was consensual. And I believe him. I believe him. Because this woman is clearly putting on a show. Let's continue.
I know for a fact that I never said the things that this person is saying that I said.
Another beauty pageant contestant quoted you as saying, he's got a lot of money and he's dumb. You saw what Robin Givens got out of him.
So now that's two witnesses that were in the same beauty pageant that she was in that heard her saying things in regards to Mike Tyson.
That's another thing that I never said. The only thing that was mentioned about Robin Givens was the next day, after everything that had happened to me, there was a group of girls around talking about, well, Robin Givens did this to him and Robin Givens did that to him, these things that I hadn't even known the day before. And I said, well, you know, I wouldn't judge her too much. He's not a very nice person or something like that. I said something to that effect, something in her defense, because I had seen firsthand how crazy, in my opinion, this man is. And for her to have to live with him and for them to put her down, I thought was wrong at the time. And I was very upset the next day. And that was the reason that I said what I said the next day. But it wasn't prior to the rape.
Now, for the first time, Desiree confirmed in our interview what previously had only been rumored, that she'd been offered a bribe before the trial. Desiree, I understand that After the indictment, you were offered over $1 million to drop charges.
Yes,
Is that true?
I was. Yes. And the people who offered me the money told me what to say. They told me to say that I was afraid because of what happened to Patricia Bowman, that I was afraid because of how Anita Hill was exploited. They gave me a million excuses.
So you could have gotten out of it, taken the money, and lived a nice, comfortable life.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Now, what this woman is not telling you the truth about is that in 1995, she filed a civil suit against Mike Tyson, and she won like $3 or $5 million. So why would she take $1 million from this alleged random person that came up and bribed her? She sued him and got $6 million, $5 million off of him. But there's no need to beat a dead horse, man. But I'll tell you what, though. You know what's crazy about this entire situation? The crazy thing about this entire situation is that the same man who you people consider to be the biggest racist on the planet Earth, right? The same guy who you guys consider to be the most racist man in the world, which I believe is a falsely accused racist. But this same guy, Donald Trump, the biggest racist of all time, came to Mike Tyson's defense. All right, let's check it out.
Ladies and gentlemen, our next...
Give me a second, let me get to that timestamp. Let me show y'all this real quick. This is interesting. Just since we're talking about Mike Tyson. Since we're talking about Mike. Check this out. This is Trump on the Letterman show.
I think I could.
Speaking of fights, explain to me now what you were thinking about the Mike Tyson situation. Shortly after the verdict was announced that he had been convicted, he was guilty of the crime, you had a plan. Now, what were you thinking?
What was I thinking?
Yeah.
I was thinking that as soon as he gets out, he's going to fight at my casinos.
Yeah, but you can't buy your way through.
Of course, I'm only kidding when I say that, folks.
I wish I could say that.
Mike Tyson was greeted at his door at 1 o'clock in the morning by a woman. He then...
Well, we don't need to go through the case again.
It's ridiculous. The woman was dancing at 8 o'clock, and this guy's in jail for 6 years. I don't understand it. I think it's wrong. I think
but due process of law prevailed. So that
I think he had one of the worst defense lawyers I've ever seen. This was the worst defense. I mean, their defense essentially was that anybody that goes out with Mike Tyson knows she's going to be raped, and therefore Mike Tyson, this is his defense. I think it was a horrible job they did. Well,
everything you say may be true, but still in all, you can't come in and say, okay, let's put the decision of the court aside. Here, I have a plan.
I never said that.
I think that was the impression people had of it.
What I said really is that Mike Tyson should fight. Mike Tyson should supply millions and millions and millions of dollars to rape victims, and I think that's a hell of a lot better than him sitting in a jailhouse for 6 years. Now, let him do some time, let him do some this, but this man could supply $30 million just from one fight, and that solves a lot more problems than keeping him locked up in solitary confinement doing nothing. I think that Mike Tyson had a horrible defense. I think
but again, what you're saying is that celebrities maybe should be treated differently than lay people.
And I say Mike should serve some time and everything else. But to keep a man, here's a woman that was dancing at his door at 1 o'clock in the morning dancing.
We don't need to get into this. We don't need to get into this.
But that's an important thing.
Hey, don't get me hot, okay?
Now, clearly, right? Clearly, Trump couldn't come outright and call the woman a liar because Tyson was found guilty at that point, and she could sue the hell out of Trump for defamation if he would have said that. So of course he had to say, oh, maybe he should do this and do that. But the point he was making is that the story is BS. That was abundantly clear. At the time, I know we were kids, but at the time, the story was abundantly clear that this woman was on some BS. Okay? And this is just another instance where a black woman was used to take one of the most powerful and talented men in their field, which was boxing in the case of Mike Tyson, all the way out. And he ain't never been the same since he came out of jail. All right? And really, we could go on and on about instances where top tier black men have been taken down by Keishas. Of course, there's Tupac, you know what I mean? There's Tory Lanez, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. That's a whole nother show I could do for another 3 hours, going down the list of famous entertainers and athletes and politicians who have been taken out by their own people. Okay? But one other point I want to make is, in addition to black women being used to take out prominent black men, they are also used to take out the common, hardworking, blue-collar, middle-class black man. And I brought this up on my Facebook and my Instagram earlier. Okay? Go to any family court building in a predominantly black or significantly black area in America. Okay? You will see good black men. I'm talking firemen, police, lawyers, doctors, janitors, teachers, electricians, plumbers. All the good men in the community being hung out to dry and lied on by black women on a daily basis by the hundreds or maybe even the thousands every single day. Hell, I know women who make it a point to go after Metro bus drivers and to try to get pregnant because they heard how much them dudes get paid bi-weekly. As a matter of fact, hood rats are born and raised to go after blue collar and middle class men's paychecks. And they use babies to do it. See, this is the shit that none of you niggas really want to talk about. These black women are being raised by hood rats and hood rat grandmas and hood rat aunties that's babysitting them, that basically instill two things in these girls. Number one, how to get on Section 8, and number two, how to manipulate good, unsuspecting men into the family court system. And I'm not saying it's all black women. I'm not saying that. But it's too many of them and not enough of the good black women condemning this behavior. I swear to God, we don't talk about this enough, because let's leave the suffering of black men out of it just for a second, okay? The kids are out here suffering too. And that's why the cycle continues, because y'all breed little girls with daddy issues that makes them ultimately toxic. And y'all breed little boys who can't control their emotions and end up either rainbow warriors, state property, or dead by 25. If they're lucky. So honestly, you can miss me with the whole white women are the problem bullshit. The problem is that y'all want to be the ones to screw black men over, and when you see a white girl do it, you're just jealous. You're just jealous that she got to screw us over before you did. You don't actually care about Shannon Sharp being set up. You're jealous a black woman didn't set him up. That's all this is about. That's all this is about. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here for the night. We're gonna go ahead and get up out of here. As always, hold on real quick. Good Lord. What we got? Daryl Quick says, if you as a working man still dealing with the hood rat, I mean, you can't be naive at that point. Raw dogging a chick you ain't married is a conscious decision. I'm not excusing these women, but you got to do more to protect yourself. I mean, duh. So here's what I have to say to when people make points like this. Yes, you're correct. The man does need to make better decisions in that regard, right? But here's the thing. The malicious intent is not with the man here. Is the man stupid for getting into this situation? Yes. But ultimately, there's no malicious intent coming from this man. The mistake that the man makes by getting this woman pregnant, 9 times out of 10, he's willing to fix it. But it's the hood rat and the mentality of a lot of these women. The viciousness that's instilled in them is to take this man to court, run him through the mud, and take him for all he got. Because that's what they're born and that's what they're raised to do. That's the problem here. There's gullible people in life. Like, you can't raise gullibleness out of everybody, right? But that evilness and that going to the court system and doing all that shit to a nigga that's really trying to step up and do the right thing for his kid, that's inherently evil. That's the type of shit that'll get you sent to hell. Being stupid and ignorant, that's not going to get you sent to hell because you didn't know any better. You thought you were dealing with a decent chick, you know what I mean? What's your number, bro? I mean, hey, bro, okay, it says, what's your number? If you want to call in, I'll put the link in the chat, Brody. Give me a second. Matter of fact, I'm going to send you the link. Give me a second. We can do a little dialogue. I'll send you the link, bro. Stay where you at. Matter of fact, check your DM in a second. I'm gonna send you the link. Check your DM. Hold up. Give me 1 second. All right. Check your DM, sir. I just sent you a link. If you'd like to call in and talk about it, I'll give you a second and we can talk about it. But like I said, I mean, yeah, men are stupid for falling for this shit. But like I said, it's inherently evil on the part of the woman for even putting the man through this. Shout out to Rod Diddy. He said, you live and you learn. Exactly. You live and you learn. You live and you learn. Like, I don't know, it's a lot of us that have been through the family. Like me, I was fortunate enough to fight my way through the family court situation. And, you know, I mean, but going through it was rough. Like, I had to endure all type of nonsense, all type of allegations and shit. But when it was all said and done, and I had my day in court, you know what I mean? I handled my business and you know, I didn't get screwed over. But it's a lot of men who aren't that fortunate. You know what I mean? And they don't deserve that. They don't deserve that. You know what I mean? Okay, you slip up, you get one of these little Jones pregnant, you ready to take care of your responsibility, and next thing you know, you getting hit with all type of court shit. All right, hold on. All right, we got DQ in the building. All right, give me a second. Let me get you on here. Hold on 1 second, bro. Let me fix the audio real quick. All right, DQ in the building. What you got for me, bro?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear, sir.
All right. So listen, I'm not excusing any of the women. I'm not pandering on anything. My whole thing about it is we've been through this for decades. So in the 80s, 90s, back then we didn't have information. Now we have information to see the numbers, to see what's going on. In 2025, we can't say, oh, we didn't see this coming. There's no reason why NFL players and NBA players are still going through the same BS that the guys in the 90s was going through. I can't keep saying it's their fault. At some point, you got to say, man, I got to do better. I got to stop doing this. I got to stop doing that. You got to elevate the people that's around you and who you deal with. You can't keep saying, man, it's like me.
I don't know what happened to your audio, bro. You just cut out for some reason. Repeat what you just said. Like you cut out for like the last 15 seconds.
Okay. What I'm saying is, take me. If I'm still in the hood, I can't complain about the life that's going on around me if I put myself in that situation to deal with that, is what I'm saying. So I'm, again, and I know it sounds like I'm putting the blame on them, but I'm only saying you got to put yourself in a situation. Like for me,
I mean, but hold on. Essentially, bro, we're saying the same thing. Like the whole point of this show was to combat the widespread delusion that white women are black men's kryptonite. That's my whole argument here. I'm saying it's not white women. I'm saying black women by far screw over black men way beyond anything a white woman could ever do to you. That was my point.
Right. Again, so let me say this, because I don't want you to think I'm arguing against you. I'm only stepping in to say, as a peer, as, you know what I'm saying, being the same gender, us guys really have to hold each other accountable to say, man, you know, if I feel like you wasn't doing right as a father, I got to say something to you. Until you say, you know what, I got to do better. You know what I'm saying? And if nobody does that, you're going to have these examples. So I'm not saying anybody's right or who does it more or less, but we got to be better because we put ourselves in these situations. You know, we going to court, we getting locked up. You know what I'm saying? We get money taken out of our pockets because we are making these decisions because somebody ain't stepping up to say, man, this is not a good situation, bro. It looks good from afar.
I mean, okay, so that's where I have to disagree with you because that's all I do is say that you shouldn't do that. I mean, I don't even think,
I'm not saying you don't. I'm saying us as general. And like somebody has to say in general, not you. I don't want you to think I'm attacking you, but go ahead.
No, I mean, I'm not even saying what you're saying is wrong. I just feel like I think the point should be that these women should not be aiming to financially destroy men by manipulating the family court system. That's a bigger problem than men just being stupid. Like,
okay,
you know what I mean?
So okay, now hold that statement. I'm going to compare that to racism. You ain't going to stop racism, just like you're not going to stop that. But what you can do is put yourself in a position to defend yourself and put yourself in a better situation not to have to deal with that. So take the example you made with the metro. If you know that women are doing that to bus drivers, somebody got to get in those bus drivers' head to say, bruh, they out here to do this. Yeah, they're gonna look good, they're gonna fix themselves up, they're gonna throw it at you, but you gotta not put yourself in that situation because you know this exists. In the 90s, you didn't have this information. Now it's 2025. We almost 30 years from, well, we're past 30 years from that.
But like I said, yes, you're correct. Of course, there is some fault to you for being an idiot, right? But I guess what I'm saying in hindsight is that inherently, the evil in this situation goes to the person with the intent of trapping the idiot. You understand what I'm saying? That's
again.
So I'm not really. My thing is, of course, and we had smoke for Shannon Sharp today. I mean, I'm calling him an idiot several times. I think he's an idiot, certainly. But we can't negate the fact that these women are nefariously setting men up and using sex to trap them and lie on them. I mean, and that to me is the bigger problem, bro. I think there needs to be legal ramifications for women who get caught lying and doing stuff like this.
Absolutely.
Because everybody's not smart. There's especially these athletes. A lot of athletes, let's just be honest, they're stupid. They're stupid. Right. Like you got, for instance, PJ Washington, 19 years old. He gets trapped by Brittany Renner, right? She's like 27, 28. Traps a 19-year-old. Like that. Yes, the 19-year-old PJ Washington is an idiot, but he's a kid getting trapped by a 28-year-old woman who's purposely out to get his paycheck. Like that to me is the worst. The worst crime here. That's all I'm saying.
So again, the reason why I'm calling in, I'm not, like I said, it may sound like it, but I'm not disputing or arguing against you, and I'm not getting on them for being idiots. What I'm saying is somebody has to really go out there and say, bruh, look what's happening, and be your brother's keeper. Because
you're breaking up again, bro. Keep telling you, man, you need to get yourself an iPhone, man. Get rid of that Google phone or whoever the hell you got, bro. That shit is terrible, man. Hello? You there? Bro, get an iPhone, man. What's up? Damn. Okay, I think we lost him. Anyways, man, y'all get the point, man. I thought it was a great show, great conversation with DQ. He's called in quite a few times. We always have a great conversation. But we're gonna go ahead and close this out, man. I think he's back. Hold on. Good. I'll let you get the last word, bro, because I'm ready to close it out.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'll let you get the last word. I'm ready to close it out.
All right, yeah, I got you. I'm gonna wrap it up. So I don't want to take too much time. Again, I'm not arguing against you. I'm just saying us as peers, just not like, of course, me and you can't get near, Shannon, but somebody has to really be that keeper to say, bro, man, look what's happening out there. Don't, you know what I'm saying? Somebody got to do it. You know what I'm saying? If I see that somebody is trying to go after firefighters, I gotta, if I see it, I gotta start saying, yo, to the young dudes, hey, they're trying to do this, man. You gotta protect yourself. Somebody gotta say it. Yeah, you can call him a fool, and I'm not going to, berate the dude like, man, you an idiot. I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say, look, you are naive, but listen, you got to put yourself in a position to protect yourself. And that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we're both saying for real. I mean,
yeah, absolutely.
I don't think that you're wrong in that regard at all.
Absolutely.
You definitely got to protect yourself. You know what I'm saying? Because Keisha is not playing.
I forgot what's the name of the big joint that tried to sue. Forgot her name. Layla Red. Somebody.
Oh, yeah. She tried to sue.
It was Zion, right?
No, Mariah Mills. I talked about that. Mariah Mills. No. She just tried to ruin him because he stopped tricking on her. And then she tried to lie and say she was pregnant and all that stuff.
So at this point, you know what I mean? It pays itself. You can't be naive.
For sure. And I brought that up earlier in the conversation. I'm just like, it's especially dealing with these OnlyFans girls. I mean, they degrade themselves on a regular basis for money. So if you don't think they'll do you in for money, you lost your mind.
It's all business, never personal.
Like if you want to have a transaction with an OnlyFans girl or two, okay, do it, hit it, quit it, use a rubber, roll out. But you carrying on months and years relationships with these women, and then you know how women are. When you cut them off from the tricking, they're gonna bring you down because they used to your dumbass giving them money.
There you go.
And then when you cut it off at that point because you done got the woman halfway emotionally hooked and then financially hooked. So she gonna do whatever she can to crash and burn your life. But yeah, man, definitely appreciate the call, man. We should be back. I might do another live some point this week. I just been busy as hell, and I've been tired.
Bro.
Jet lag coming back from Dubai, man. Like that shit had me fucked up.
Good stuff, bro. I saw the pictures and the videos, man. Good stuff.
Thanks, fam. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and close this out, bro.
All right, man.
All right. But yeah, man. Once again, shout out to DQ for coming through. Always a great conversation with DQ. But yeah, as I always say, whether you agree, you disagree, or you're indifferent, do me a favor, especially if you're watching on the Playback, leave a comment in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to hit that like button. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to tap that notification bell and select all. And always remember, tripping ain't easy, but somebody's got to do it. Ladies and gentlemen, peace out. Catch you on the next one.